Hey guys, this is Cashin with Cavaliere, Season 1, Episode 6. This is all about habits and creating a habit to allow yourself to really just make sure that you're changing out of bad habits into good habits and hopefully bettering your life in those habits that are doing so. So the big thing that I wanted to first talk about were the 3 R's of creating a habit: reminder, routine, and reward. You need to remind yourself, why are you doing this? You need to create a routine to make sure that you stay doing this. And the beauty about it is you know there's a reward there to hold yourself and to know that that's why you're doing this for. Now, of course, to start things off, one of the things that I always try to do is commit to 30 days. Just do it for 30 days. It's one of the best ways to create a habit, is doing it uncontrollably for 30 days to create your ability to do it on an autopilot system. Now, once you have the idea of whether it's going to be quitting smoking or going to the gym, once you have that idea, in 30 days, I'm going to do this these next 30 days. You have the ability to do that. Now you have to make it daily. Now you have to do it every day, so that way that can become a habit after those 30 days. The best thing about this is consistency. If you're not being consistent, you're not going to create a habit. With that being said, start simple. A lot of the times, I hear people that say they want to go to the gym, and they're going to go to the gym 20 times throughout the month, or whatever it may be, 5 times a week, 7 times a week, every single day. They're going to do it, this, that, and a third, and that's great. That's great. I want to hear those things, but what really scares me is the plans above it as well. What I'm going to do for workouts, this, that, and a third, keep it simple. Don't over motivate yourself in the beginning to the point where it's too much 2 weeks into it. It's too much to maintain. Another thing, a really easy thing to look at, is if you want to quit smoking cigarettes. You want to stop smoking cigarettes today, I don't suggest dwindling yourself down. Cold turkey is probably the best way you're going to do it. But if you're going to do it today, so that way you're able to start right away. Able to start holding yourself accountable to that. The hardest thing, and personally for me trying to quit smoking, the hardest thing was, after today I'm going to quit smoking. Well, I made the decision to quit smoking, but after today is the biggest part of my brain that's recognizing. It knows that I can smoke as much cigarettes as I want, and then tomorrow I'm going to quit. It didn't ever end up happening that way, and I can promise you that. It didn't ever work for me. I don't know if it's worked for others, but if it works for you, keep doing it. It's a really long shot way to do it, but like I said, if you allow yourself to keep it simple, you'll allow yourself to really push yourself forward and elaborate along throughout the way. Now, of course, remind yourself, as I was talking before, is extremely important. You need to remind yourself why you're doing this. Remind yourself what the patterns are that you've put in place for yourself to allow yourself to get past day 1 to day 2 and day 3. And then, if you need to, especially when it comes to the gyms and places to stop smoking cigarettes, these things also work, especially if you have a spouse that smokes and you smoke. Trying to quit one of them, it's always a lot harder. Get a buddy. Get someone that's going to do this with you. You're going to stay motivated. You can motivate them. Hold yourselves accountable, so that while you're starting something that's supposed to change your life, something you've never done before, you have a hand in it to allow yourself to really hold yourself up. And that can always give a lot of help to the person that you're working with as well, that really wants to make this change for their life as well. And you can be that huge piece that allows them to do it, not only just to do it for yourself. But another thing is really forming a trigger. What is causing you to do these things? For smoking a cigarette, after I eat, I always want to smoke a cigarette. And I actually learned this thing where you snap your fingers every time you want to smoke a cigarette until you totally forget. And you're doing something with your hand. It's not necessarily going back up to your mouth, but you're doing something with that hand. You're using that mental click that you're going to be doing when you're reforming that habit. And with that being said, replace those lost needs. If you aren't smoking cigarettes anymore, replace that habit. Allow yourself to get away from never going back and picking up a cigarette. If you revolt back to that, pick up a carrot instead and eat a carrot, maybe, whatever it may be. A lot of the times for quitting smoking, a lot of people just do something that is relevant to smoking, yet just not smoke it. And that has allowed a lot of people to stop. Of course, like I said, cold turkey is one of the best ways to quit smoking cigarettes, but if you want to go to the gym, start thinking of a plan of how you're going to do it, and really start forming that trigger of whether it's going to be at 6 a.m. that you're going to go to the gym every day, and make sure that you hold yourself to that, so that way you can really create that habit for yourself. The one thing that I think is very scary for people to create a habit is thinking that's going to work out perfectly for them. Every day they're going to wake up, they're going to do everything right as it's supposed to happen, because this is their life. How could they mess it up? But at the end of the day, it's not that easy, otherwise we wouldn't all have bad habits. So when things go wrong, don't think it's the end of it. It's not going to work for you. Just know that it's not easy. It's not going to be easy, and allow yourself to not think of everything being so perfect in this situation. You might end up missing the day at the gym. You might end up picking up a cigarette one day. It may be that everything doesn't work out on those 30 days, all 30 days. but that just allows you to know that this habit is going to be harder to break. We are going to have to work harder. We are going to have to do these things. We are going to have to hold ourselves accountable. We might need to get a buddy to do this, and allow yourself to really go forward and push yourself and grow through this process. Think of this like an experiment. You can't ever fail in an experiment because there's just different results throughout experience, giving you different ways to go about in a different experiment. Don't think of this as something that has to be set in stone. Don't think of this as if you don't succeed in your 30 days that you're a failure and never going to be able to change your habit. Now we know there's a different way that you're going to need to go about it. There's different pieces of the puzzle that we're going to need to focus on instead of other things that we only focused on, and make sure that we go all around the board. Another thing is making sure that we're using but when we're being negative. A huge thing and a huge thing that I learned was positive negatives. When you're being positive. This lady was so out of the box. When I started talking to her, you would have known she wasn't going to buy it, but she bought anyways. Or, but the only thing that stinks is her credit card didn't go through, so I have to go back tomorrow. There's no point for that last part. There's no point to make something positive into something negative. But if you're being negative, you can always make it positive. I suck at this, but if I work really hard, if I focus on what I'm worst at and apply that to what I'm best at, I'm gonna be really good at this. Allow yourself to trick your mind into never being negative again. It's okay to start something off being negative. It's okay to think the wrong thing. Just know that your brain is more powerful than that, and you can put yourself into that to allow that to be a positive thought process by the time it enters your head and by the time it exits your head, as well as your mouth if you're saying it out loud. And with that, you allow yourself to not only know what you're doing wrong, but it allows you to tell yourself what you can do right, what it is that you need to do. You don't need a teacher. You don't need someone to constantly tell you what is right and what is wrong and what you should be thinking and what you shouldn't be thinking and how not to put down yourself. You can do these things on your own. We just need to make sure that we're being on top of that. And that's a habit in itself, not being negative and creating a positive atmosphere around your own mind. That is a habit in itself, and that is very tricky as well. And it's not just one of those things that just changes out of nowhere. But I mean, remove yourself as well from temptation. This is my favorite thing. When I wanted to stop watching TV, I canceled my Netflix subscription. I stopped watching TV. There was no way for me to watch TV unless I went out of my way and rebought it again. So it allowed myself to get away from 3 hours of the day sitting down and watching TV, because I now have nothing to do. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to sit down. That doesn't sound fun. I don't want to do that. So now it forced me to get out and do more. It forced me to start my Cash In with Cavaliere. It forced me to start doing interviews. It forced me to keep elaborating on my own life rather than watching other people make millions off of my time watching them. So with that being said, remove yourself from those temptations. If it's going to the gym or it's cutting out junk food and that's why you're going to the gym, get the junk food out of your house. If you're not going to eat it, why keep it? I get don't waste food. Go down to the church, give them some of the food. Go anywhere, give it to people at work, bring it all into work, whatever it may be. But don't say wasting food's the reason why you're going to keep the junk food and then end up eating it 30 days later. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to help you. I would much rather not have $30 and have a better life than to have those $30 and keep revolting back to the bad life that I keep living in my own mind. So with that being said, make sure that we're really holding ourselves to accountable to remove those temptations, so that way we can't be falling back within our 30 days or even forward further, to allow ourselves to stay motivated, keep our habits going forward, and to allow ourselves to make sure that we're creating better habits for our own life. Now, one of the things that I find to be extremely helpful was to associate myself with role models when it came terms to what it is that I wanted to do. With people that I knew quit smoking was a huge one. People that I knew that had gone from not necessarily being healthy to now being workout rats, just constantly at the gym. And that has allowed myself to really see what it is not only have they done to change their life, but to make sure that I'm constantly seeing someone go to the gym every day, someone not smoking cigarettes after they eat. Like I said, it's a huge issue for me. But watching other people do those things gets you motivated first and foremost, but gives you information and gives you the knowledge to know if this person can do it, I can definitely do it. There's nothing that's different between me and him, and I hope that's what you think, because at the end of the day, that's how it is. There's nobody out there that's any different between the life that they live versus the life that you live. Everybody can live the same kind of lives if we work hard enough to do so. But with that being said, we're going to run this as an experiment. We're going to do all this. We're going to do all that. Know your benefits. What is this going to do for you? If it's quitting smoking, you get to breathe, you get to live, you get to get to have clear teeth. And with that being said, you allow yourself to have a better life. So know your benefits. Going to the gym, you're healthier, you look better. You allow yourself to be able to run faster, to play with your kids if you're older and you have kids and now you're trying to make sure you can keep up because they got a lot of energy and you don't. Whatever it may be, know these benefits, hold these benefits to your heart, let these benefits be the things that are motivating you out of these bad habits and these bad ways of living into a better habit, into a better way of life. Now, the biggest and most important thing is you got to do this for yourself. I don't want you doing it for me. I don't want you doing it for mom or your brother or your sister or a person at work. Those are great things to hold yourself to and say, I'm going to do this so you can be proud of me. That's great. But at the end of the day, the biggest motivational piece to you is going to be your own willpower. Be your own ability to push forward and allow yourself to keep going. I do a lot of things because I want to make a better life for my parents, and I want to make sure my brother never works a day longer than I ever did in my entire life. But that's not the reason why I'm going to continue pushing forward. They are a big part of it, but why I want to do these things is for my life, for my family, and for my kids. I want to make sure that I have the opportunity to live my life the way I want to, so that way I can show my kids exactly how to live their lives and to show them exactly what has brought me to success and what will continue to thrive throughout my body and throughout my life. And that's exactly what this is all about here today. So just to recap real quick, I know it's been a little long video, I'm trying to cut them a little bit shorter, but make a commitment for 30 days. Once you commit to 30 days, remind yourself daily, making it daily, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Don't allow yourself to skip one day off of just nonsense. If you're gonna skip a day, make sure it's freaking damn well worth it, because now you gotta think about it. You gotta start those 30 days over again. So every 30 days, we have the ability of changing this habit, but we need to make sure that we're staying focused on it. We need to make sure that we're being vigilant upon it and staying that course and creating that routine of what we need to do to keep it going. Replace these lost needs with the new ones that we have, and of course, if you need to, get a buddy. They'll help you along, you'll push them along. We'll make sure that we're able to help 2 people instead of just 1. And of course, like I said, think of this like an experiment. This isn't set in stone. This isn't your life going to waste if you waste 30 days. There's no failing in this experiment. There's no waste of time. It's giving you the results that you need to know to make a better experiment later on. And of course, like I said, know the benefits. Know why this is going to help you, know why this is going to benefit you, and then do it for yourself. Do it for you, and make sure that at the end of the day that you can look back, pat yourself on the shoulder because you worked your butt off. Once again, this is Cashin with Cavaliere, guys. Let me know what you want to hear next week. Let me know what you'd like to see, where I might want to be. Thanks again.